I'm live here on 740 KVOR. This is the show that spotlights the community and makes you the star. We interview Olympic athletes, filmmakers, really cool networks such as ASI, coming next week to a show near you. Right now I've got in the hot seat Christopher George. He is a paranormal investigator, and that is really exciting to me because I try to avoid anything paranormal. If there's a ghost in the house, I do not want to know about it. But you have a very interesting career. You were actually working in Long Beach, California on Queen Mary.
That's right, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about you, Christopher George, and how did you discover that, you know what, I've got the tools to discover what's going on with the paranormal?
Well, it has always interested me. I feel like the theme from X-Files should be playing or something here, I don't know. But back in, when I was quite younger, I started having some experiences. I didn't understand what they were at the time. I'd see people coming up and talking with me, and other people would look at me like, who's this kid talking to? And eventually I realized that, hey, the people that I'm seeing are not really here in the physical sense. And so then I really kept going, and then I started also having other experiences along with UFO sightings and so on. So it had always been a part of me. Then I moved out to California, and I was studying for my recreation degree. Career-wise, I was a park ranger. Oh. And so kind of goes hand in hand.
Smokey the Bear.
That's right. But in a lot of the parks I worked at, we started having very strange phenomena. So at the time I was going to UCLA, and they had one of the leading paranormal divisions and science research sections in the country at that time. And it was headed by a man by the name of Cary Gaynor. And Cary was famous, for anybody who is into horror movies, the film The Entity. That was a true story. And basically he did the investigation in it and discovered a lot about paranormal activities. So I went ahead and applied to go through his class, which I thought, you know, this will be pretty easy, it'll be fun. You know, I'll get to learn all about the spooky things and the weird things. And of course, the kids that were at the college also looked at us at that time as the crazy kids.
Of course.
Or the spooky kids, because it was not the big thing that it is today. Mm-hmm. And so I went through the course and was amazed at how difficult it really was. It had to have been the hardest college course I had ever taken in my life. And primarily it was because people just assumed that you would be watching videos and looking at photographs. Absolutely not. What the course dealt with was trying to debunk all of the elements before you could even get to that stage. So we had to study architecture, we had to study biology, we had to study ecology, hypothermal activity, just a plethora of different sciences before we even got to that point. When I enrolled, there was about 200 students. When I finally graduated, there was 14 of us. That's how difficult it was.
That's worse than boot camp.
Pretty much so. And
Hell Week in the Marines.
Well, there's really it was. And it really opened your mind because it really showed the dedication in order to go about and do the scientific research. Today, it's more looked upon as a hobby than anything else. Shows like Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, there's quite a few of them. In fact, I believe Ghost Hunters is going into their 7th or 8th season, and they didn't even think that they would even make it through one.
Very popular. I know that Brandon Bishop on the ASI Network has a show with Hellscream Haunted House, who advertises here, and boy, it's his most downloaded show. People are they are so into the scare and the surreal.
And that's a part of us. We want to know about the unknown, but at the same time, we all love a good scare. That is, until it really happens to you. Yeah. Then it can be a little different. I always said I never really got scared doing an investigation until I reviewed the evidence. Because so much shows up after the fact. It shows up in the recordings, it shows up in the videos, and so forth. But overall, it has become this big thing. The only problem is people who watch shows like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures and so on see only a small percentage of what is really there. Unfortunately, a lot of these shows are hyped to entertainment values, and so people don't understand that it can be very, very dangerous.
Agreed.
You cannot just go out and be a ghost hunter. We're trying to discover what is on the other side. We know there is something. We have had varied contacts with the other side. People ask me, well, why are ghosts around? The predominant theory is this. There's actually 4 elements. The first element is when a person dies suddenly, say in a car accident or has a massive heart attack, they sometimes do not know they're dead.
Oh.
So they wander around thinking they're still alive, but they're confused because nobody's answering them. They're ignoring them. And so that's when activities in the house begin. Like, well, gosh darn it, maybe if I throw something at them, I'll get their attention. Or maybe if I misplace their keys, I'll get something, some acknowledgement.
They didn't listen to me when I was there. They're not listening now.
Exactly. Darn kids. I took care of them all my life and now they ignore me. But that's usually the first case. The second case is unfinished business. And that's where, say, for instance, a mother passes away and she has young children. She doesn't want to move on because she's worried about her kids. So they linger until they're assured that their kids are going to be just fine. Then the third one, which is the most common, is judgment. A lot of faiths believe that if you live a horrible life or if you do anything wrong, God is going to send you to the place downstairs. So when that light opens up to accept them to the other side, they won't go. Because they are afraid that if they go up there, God's going to say, you're going down there instead. So they linger. And the truth is, if that light opens up, it means you're going to the good place.
Okay.
But there is also the negative side. And the negative side will actually come and get you. And then it will start to connect with that spirit in order to really turn them into a darker element. And then the fourth kind is residual haunting. And a residual haunting is not really a true haunting in the essence of what you think of an intelligent haunting is. Residual is like a memory. It's imprinted into the area, into the space, like a tragedy. A lot of places out in England, for instance, at the castles, will see the same crime being committed. A ghostly specter will be running down the halls with another specter following them with a knife or a sword or something. And it continues to repeat. And it's because that energy has been blasted into the environment. But there's no intelligence there. And eventually it'll fade away. But those are the 4 basic elements to a haunting.
You've really answered a lot of questions. I've heard at the Stanley Hotel up in northern Colorado, some of these stories where the dog keeps running out the door
Sure.
and through the wall. And I wish I had an hour for you. You are absolutely incredible. How can people get a hold of you or take your course, read your book?
Absolutely. You can find me on the web at anubis.wix.com/APRO, which stands for Anubis Paranormal Research Organization.
That's a tough one.
It is.
You'll email me that link just in case, and
Absolutely.
I'll post it on the Our Town page. I should have had you on for Halloween.
Yes, well,
Thank you.
we're going to have you go out on a tour with us,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
for sure.
definitely. And you're coming back for Halloween. So thank you, Christopher George, Paranormal Research Crew, letting us know in some of the hauntings that are going on. This is Our Town, the show that spotlights the community and makes you the star. Stay tuned. We're live here on 740 KVOR. Wow! Fantastic! Because I was like, I don't know, man, this is like
There's a lot
some of
to
the
it.
questions answered. Yeah.
I mean, we only touched the hauntings. I mean, there's the cryptozoology aspect of it, which is the Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, all
Right.
of the other
and
ones.
people want to know about
Yeah.
that. Because
And,
Bigfoot, they even have that on Pike's Peak
Sure.
at the top, like a
Sure.
joke, like he's been seen.
They believe,
Sure.
science is starting to show that Bigfoot may be actually a transdimensional creature. That's why it's seen and then not seen, and that there's no evidence. And science is really becoming very, very conscientious to alter dimensions.
Yes.
And so quantum physics is proving that there is other dimensional areas that bounce into us.
I believe we're going to go see what intern Drew is doing, and we're going to go curbside.